Hello, welcome to Rank 10s. Today we will take a look at the top 10 most influential battles in English history. Starting off our list at number 10, we have the Battle of Somme. This battle was fought in 1916. This was one of the bloodiest and most significant battles of World War I. It took place along the Somme River in northern France, where British and French forces faced off against the German army. The battle was intended to break the stalemate of trench warfare and secure a decisive victory for the Allies. On July 1st, 1916, the British launched a massive assault on the German lines, supported by a heavy artillery barrage. However, the German defenses proved to be far stronger than anticipated, and the British suffered devastating losses. The first day of the battle became known as the longest day in British military history, with over 57,000 casualties. Despite the initial setbacks, the Allies continued to fight on, with both sides suffering immense casualties. The battle raged for months, with neither side making significant gains. In the end, the Battle of Somme was a costly and inconclusive affair. While the Allies did manage to advance their lines, they failed to achieve a decisive breakthrough. The battle remains a grim reminder of the horrors of trench warfare and the devastating human cost of the First World War. Landing at the ninth spot on our list is the Battle of Dunkirk. This battle was fought in May and June 1940. This was a pivotal moment in World War II. With the Allied forces retreating before the advancing German army, the port city of Dunkirk became a desperate last stand. Trapped on the beaches, hundreds of thousands of British, French, and Belgian soldiers faced the grim prospect of capture or death. In a daring operation known as Operation Dynamo, a fleet of British warships, along with thousands of civilian vessels, rushed to the rescue. Despite relentless German air attacks, the evacuation was a remarkable success. Over the course of 9 days, nearly 338,000 Allied troops were rescued, transported across the English Channel to safety. The Battle of Dunkirk was a stunning victory for the Allied forces, but it came at a heavy cost. The British Expeditionary Force lost much of its equipment, and the French army was severely weakened. However, the evacuation saved the heart of the British army, providing a crucial lifeline for the continuation of the war effort. The Miracle of Dunkirk, as it became known, inspired a sense of national unity and determination in Britain, setting the stage for the country's eventual triumph over Nazi Germany. Ranking at the 8th spot on the list is the Battle of Plassey. This battle was fought on June 23, 1757. This was a crucial event in Indian history. It marked the beginning of British colonial rule in the subcontinent. This battle pitted the forces of Siraj ad-Daulah, the Nawab of Bengal, against the British East India Company, led by Robert Clive. Siraj ad-Daulah, suspicious of the growing influence of the British in Bengal, had demanded a declaration of neutrality from the company. When the company refused, Siraj ad-Daulah besieged their fortified trading post at Calcutta. The British were eventually forced to surrender, and many of them were imprisoned in the notorious Black Hole of Calcutta. The Battle of Plassey was a decisive victory for the British. Clive, with the help of a treacherous ally, Mir Jafar, defeated Siraj ad-Daulah's forces. Siraj ad-Daulah was killed in the battle, and Mir Jafar was installed as the new Nawab of Bengal. The British East India Company had gained control of a vast territory in India, laying the foundation for their future empire. Hitting the number 7 spot on our list is the Battle of Britain. This was a major aerial battle fought between the British Royal Air Force and the German Luftwaffe during the Second World War. It took place primarily over southern England from July 10th to October 31st, 1940. The German Luftwaffe, led by Hermann Göring, aimed to gain air superiority over Britain as a prelude to an invasion. The battle began with the Luftwaffe targeting British airfields, radar stations, and anti-aircraft batteries. However, the RAF, under the leadership of Air Chief Marshal Sir Hugh Dowding, proved to be a formidable opponent. The British pilots, including the legendary Battle of Britain aces like Douglas Bader and Eric Winkle Brown displayed exceptional skill and courage. They defended their homeland with unwavering determination, despite facing overwhelming odds. The turning point of the battle came in late August and early September, when the Luftwaffe shifted its focus to attacking London. This decision, known as the Blitz, was a tactical error by the Germans. It allowed the RAF to regroup and strengthen its defenses. The British people, united in their resistance, also played a crucial role in the battle. They endured heavy bombing, but their morale remained high, inspiring the RAF to continue fighting. At the number 6 spot on our list, we had the Battle of Culloden. This battle was fought on April 16, 1746. This was the final confrontation of the Jacobite Rising of 1745 to 1746 in Scotland. The Jacobite army, led by Prince Charles Edward Stuart, was defeated by the British government's forces under the command of the Duke of Cumberland. The battle took place on Culloden Moor, near Inverness, Scotland. The Jacobite army, though outnumbered, fought bravely, but was ultimately overwhelmed by the superior firepower and discipline of the government forces. The Jacobite cavalry, which had played a crucial role in previous battles, was rendered ineffective by the wet conditions of the battlefield. The Battle of Culloden was a decisive defeat for the Jacobite cause. The Prince Charles Edward Stuart was forced to flee Scotland and eventually found refuge in continental Europe. The battle marked the end of the Jacobite rebellions and solidified the Hanoverian dynasty on the British throne. The aftermath of the Culloden was marked by severe repression of the Scottish Highlands, including the destruction of clan culture and the imposition of English law. Achieving rank number 5 on the list, we had the Battle of Waterloo. This battle was fought on June 18, 1815, near Waterloo, Belgium. This marked the decisive end of the Napoleonic Wars. French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, having returned from exile, faced a coalition army led by the Duke of Wellington and Marshal Blucher. The battle was a culmination of a series of conflicts that have raged across Europe for decades. Napoleon's strategy was to divide and conquer the coalition forces, attacking Wellington's army while hoping to delay Blucher's arrival. However, Wellington's defensive position and the timely arrival of the Prussians proved to be Napoleon's undoing. The battle was a brutal and bloody affair, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Napoleon's forces, despite their initial advantage, were gradually pushed back by the coalition's superior numbers and discipline. The arrival of the Prussians, which had been delayed by a heavy rainstorm, provided a crucial turning point. Their fresh troops reinforced the coalition's lines, and Napoleon's army was forced to retreat in disarray. The defeat at Waterloo marked the end of Napoleon's imperial ambitions and the beginning of a new era in European history. The Battle of Waterloo had far-reaching consequences. It not only ended the Napoleonic Wars, but also ushered in a period of relative peace in Europe that lasted for several decades. The defeat of Napoleon helped to stabilize the continent and establish Britain as a dominant power. The battle also solidified the reputation of the Duke of Wellington as a military genius and a national hero. The legacy of Waterloo continues to be celebrated and studied, serving as a testament to the enduring power of human conflict and the importance of leadership and strategy in warfare. Achieving the rank of number 4 on our list is the Battle of Trafalgar. This battle was fought on October 21, 1805. This was a pivotal naval engagement during the Napoleonic Wars. British Admiral Horatio Nelson, commanding a fleet of 27 ships, faced off against a combined French and Spanish fleet of 33 ships. Nelson's innovative battle plan, known as the breaking line, involved splitting the enemy fleet and attacking each half individually. This daring strategy proved to be a decisive victory for the British. As the two fleets approached each other, Nelson's ships boldly cut through the enemy line, disrupting their formation and isolating individual vessels. The ensuing chaos allowed the British to focus their fire on specific targets, overwhelming the Franco-Spanish ships. Despite the initial advantage, the battle was fierce and bloody. Nelson himself was mortally wounded during the fighting, but lived long enough to witness the British victory. The Battle of Trafalgar had profound implications for the Napoleonic War. It cemented British naval supremacy for decades to come, effectively preventing Napoleon's plans to invade Britain. The battle also solidified Nelson's legacy as one of the greatest naval commanders in history, and his victory at Trafalgar remains a celebrated moment in British maritime history. Arriving at the third spot on our list is the Battle of Bosworth Field. This battle was fought on August 22, 1485. This marked the culmination of the Wars of the Roses, a series of civil wars between the houses of York and Lancaster for the English throne. The decisive battle pitted King Richard III, the last Plantagenet monarch, against Henry Tudor, Earl of Richmond, a Lancastrian claimant. The conflict was a complex struggle for power, fueled by political rivalries, personal ambitions, and a deep-seated hatred between the two families. Richard III, a controversial figure who had seized the throne through questionable means, faced growing opposition from those who believed he had murdered his nephews. The young princes Edward V and Richard of Shrewsbury, Henry Tudor, a distant relative of the Lancastrian king Henry VI, emerged as a potential alternative to Richard's rule. On the morning of August 22nd, the two armies met on a field near Market Bosworth in Leicestershire. Richard III, with a larger force, took up a strong defensive position on Ambion Hill. However, Henry Tudor's army, bolstered by support from the powerful Stanley family, launched a fierce attack. The battle raged for hours, with both sides fighting with great determination. In the end, Richard III was killed in a desperate struggle, and Henry Tudor emerged victorious. His victory marked the end of the Plantagenet dynasty and the beginning of the Tudor era. Achieving the second spot on our list is the Battle of Agincourt. This was a major clash in the 100 Years' War, fought on October 25, 1415, between the English and French armies. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the English, under the command of King Henry V, achieved a stunning victory that would significantly shape the course of the conflict. The English army, numbering around 6,000 soldiers, faced a French force estimated to be between 20,000 and 30,000 strong. The French, led by Charles VI, had a significant advantage in terms of numbers and cavalry. However, the English were well equipped and disciplined, and they had recently captured the strategically important city of Harfleur. The battle was fought on a small, muddy field near the village of Agincourt. The French, eager to exploit their numerical superiority, launched a series of cavalry charges. However, the English, using their longbows and pikes, were able to defend their position effectively. The English archers inflicted heavy casualties on the French cavalry, and the French infantry was unable to make significant progress against the English defenses. Ranking number 1 on our list is the Battle of Hastings. This battle was fought on October 14, 1066. This was a crucial event in English history. It pitted the Anglo-Saxon king Harold Godwinson against William, Duke of Normandy, who claimed the English throne. The battle took place near the present-day town of Battle, East Sussex, on a hilltop known as Senlac. Harold's army, composed primarily of infantry, armed with axes, spears, and shields, formed a formidable defensive line known as a shield wall. William's Norman defenses, which included cavalry and archers, attacked in waves, but the English defense held firm. The Normans retreated several times, but their archers inflicted heavy casualties on the English, who were forced to leave their defensive positions to counter the threat. A crucial turning point came when William feigned a retreat, drawing Harold's forces out of their defensive formation. The Normans then counterattacked, breaking through the English lines. Harold himself was struck by an arrow and killed, leading to a rout of his army. The Normans emerged victorious, paving the way for William's coronation as King of England and the subsequent Norman conquest. The Battle of Hastings had a profound impact on the history of England. It marked the end of the Anglo-Saxon era and the beginning of a new period dominated by Norman culture and institutions. The Normans introduced significant changes to English society, including the Norman feudal system and the Norman language. The battle also left a lasting legacy in the form of the Bayeux Tapestry, a detailed embroidered cloth depicting the events of the invasion and the battle. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to comment down below which battles you think were more influential than the ones listed in this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you. Have a great day.